for joining us today for the final session of Fit and Strong through the East Hampton Library. However, it is continuing online through Southampton Hospital. Is that through the Wellness Center?
It is. It's through the Wellness Center at Southampton StonyBrook Hospital. Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Same program.
Wonderful. And at the end of the class today, I will give everybody a date because people asked for when we were going to do Qigong for cancer survivors. And we do have a date for that. It is going to be Mondays from 12 to 1, starting April 17th. And that's going to run through May 22nd. Ooh. And I'll put that information up for everyone that's interested, and they're welcome to sign up and join us. And that's going to be done by a instructor, Tina Curran, who's very good. And I just would like to thank Southampton Hospital, and I'd like to thank Tracie Sullivan for being able to do these wonderful classes for us pertaining to lymphedema and health. And without further ado, I'll turn over today's exercise to Tracie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining in. Everybody's still clicking in. Trish, Mel, Lewis, Joanne, Diane, Annie G, Amy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Patty. Hi, Mel. Nice to see you all. My name is Tracie Sullivan. I am a cancer exercise specialist, a functional aging specialist. I specialize in youth exercise programming. Today we are working with Fit and Strong for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Fit and Strong is a program designed through exercise to stimulate the health of our lymphatic system and to stimulate, more importantly, the flow of the fluid known as lymph that travels through the body, supporting the immune system. So a healthy lymphatic system aids and supports a healthy immune system, which is so important in every day, especially these times. So let's discuss really quickly the lymphatic system. If you're new today, welcome. I'll give you a big preview of the lymphatic system and the purpose and why we do things, because this exercise program is, as I mentioned, specifically designed to stimulate lymphatic flow. So there are exercise movements that may be familiar, but then we incorporate other lymph drainage technique within those movements that makes this program so special. So our bodies are comprised of many systems, right? We have our digestive system, our reproductive system, our circulatory system that regulates blood flow, the skeletal system, our framework and structure, the connective tissue, the neurological system that transmits signals from the brain to the body to permit movements. Let's see what else we have. The immune system, of course, which is our body's natural defense, and the lymphatic system. Now, the lymphatic system is comprised of a series of vessels throughout the body, and they are connected very strategically and amazingly to lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are small glands, as I mentioned, strategically placed throughout the body, typically within joints, because the lymphatic vessel carries the fluid known as lymph. And unlike the circulatory system that has the heart as a pump to regulate blood flow and push the blood flow to supply the body with blood flow and oxygen, the lymphatic system relies on muscular contraction against the vessels and within the vessels to help move the fluid through. So muscular contraction happens when you lift your limb and bend the elbow. The bicep muscle shortens under tension. The tricep muscle, as an opposing muscle group, lengthens under tension. So we use that shortening of the muscle, lengthening of the muscle, the tension load, the release phase, the hold and the release phase to make those muscles lengthen and shorten, contract and relax to help push the fluid through. So as I mentioned, lymph nodes are strategically placed throughout our bodies. We have a series of large bundles of lymph nodes down the side of our necks. That helps drain the fluid from the sinus cavity, the head, face, behind the eyes, from the brain, comes down and travels down the side of the neck. You may have at one point in your life had swollen glands. Those are lymph nodes. The lymphatic fluid supporting the immune system travels through the body and seeks out bacteria, infection, cancer cells, cellular waste, transports those cells to the nearest lymph node. So the lymph vessels in the face and sinus cavity drain to the lymph nodes in the neck. The lymph vessels in the tissue in the breast travel to the armpit, to the axilla, to the lymph node bundles that are located in the armpits. There are small bundles sometimes, for example, small bundles of lymph nodes within the elbow. So if you are compromised with surgical procedures across your chest, the lymphatics are compromised in the axilla, perhaps you had radiation treatments, lymph node removal in the axilla. When the fluid travels through the body, the lymph fluid, seeking out those infections, bacteria, further cancer cells, the fluid travels back up, hits that region of where the lymph nodes normally would be. It hits essentially a dead end. If the lymph glands are removed through surgery, there's nowhere for that filter to travel through, because when that fluid travels back to the lymph node, it deposits its collection of invaders, as I mentioned, bacteria, cellular waste, into the lymph node, and that fluid filters through and continues on its journey through the body. And interestingly enough, the journey is a one-way loop. It travels one way. So if there's a blockage or damage to the lymphatic flow, interruption in lymphatic flow anywhere throughout the body, that fluid backs up and builds up and backs up, and then can result in swelling. So our goal today is to help move the fluid, push through any blockage. And if there is an area where the lymphatics are damaged and the fluid hits that dead end, we can encourage that fluid to travel in a different path and find a new route so it can continue its loop through the body. If you have been prescribed a sleeve, a compression garment, please wear that. Always wear that for exercise. And you can also, I encourage you to wear something like that if you were even doing just some activity in the house, any physical activity in the house, or the yard, the garden, raking, shoveling, cleaning windows. Throw the garment on. It's there for a purpose. So let's focus on purpose. Let's focus on what we do here. Also, our purpose: stimulate the flow of lymphatic fluid. So let's discuss a little bit. What I love about this program is that we stay in the American Heart Association and American Cancer Society's guidelines for exercise for survivors, for those newly diagnosed, and for those currently in treatment. And we keep the exercise programming to 30 minutes at a 30 to 40%, maybe even pushing that 50% intensity level. Now, intensity level means the amount of effort we apply into the movements. Okay, we never get more than breathless. We never get more than breathy. We never become too winded. Okay, and let's discuss that. There's different ways to exercise. Obviously, there's different forms of exercise to improve cardiovascular function, cardiopulmonary function. Cardiovascular, as I mentioned earlier, regulates the blood flow, using the heart as a pump to push the blood flow to supply the muscles and body with the nutrients and oxygen it needs when it calls upon the heart during movement. The pulmonary system involves the lung process during that cardiovascular. And then the cardiorespiratory system involves the breathing process when all that is taking place. So we have the combination of the heart, the lungs, and the blood flow, typically signified, if you don't have a device or some sort of monitor to monitor your heart rate, we can control and we can determine our intensity level of the work we're doing by our breathiness. Okay, so use a perceived rate of breathiness where you can continue to breathe and talk through it. That's the level of intensity we want to maintain today in this program, okay? So let's talk about training and how do we do that? How do we improve cardiovascular function, cardiopulmonary function through exercise. Strangely enough, movements, activities of everyday life, bending, lifting, tipping over the sink to wash dishes, tipping over the sink to brush your teeth, all those movements require a bend at the waist, a hip hinge. In exercise programming, we call that, or yoga style programming, we call that a flat back extension, a hip extension. For example, this motion here of combing your hair, brushing your hair. In exercise programming, it's a bicep curl. Okay, so the movements we do are very familiar to you, okay, and will be very familiar to you. So let's talk about the intervals we're going to do today. So there are interval training, and intervals by definition is a period of pause, okay? Let's see, a space between objects or an amount of time between events. So today we're going to use that interval training method once we move into our cardio exercise programming. Okay, so we'll have a moment of exercise, and today we're going to specifically time it. So you have a break in between. On the break, you do what you need. You pause, you grab water, shake it off, walk it off, smile, laugh, have fun with it in between until we go again. So there's a interval training is the quickest and most effective way to improve cardiovascular function, cardiopulmonary function. It results in an increase in efficient breathing process and the ability to deliver oxygen to the body and to sustain that level of intensity. So if we ever are in a situation in activities of every day where we are out and we are maybe taking a walk to the beach, let's say we take a wrong turn and we get lost, what happens? Now we have to walk an extra maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes. We need to be able to sustain the level of activity. Okay, so we improve that endurance through programs like this. That's exactly how it applies to everyday life. I don't know about you, but I get lost when I walk. So, okay, so let's move on here. So there's a training segment known as Tabata, developed in 1996. Dr. Izumi Tabata from Tokyo. He did a giant study and determined that the ratio of 2 to 1 showed the most improvement in those who participated in his study. And a 2 to 1 ratio means you work for the effort twice as long as the recovery. It's just enough recovery. So today we're going to apply his traditional Tabata results to our programming. 20 seconds of effort and a 10-second break. Okay, what I love about 20 seconds efforts Tabata training is that within 20 seconds, you can sustain 20 seconds. What I love about Tabata training is that there typically are 8 rounds. And if you today have to sit or break at round 6 or round 2 even, take your break. I love that it's controlled to that degree that if you come back again, perhaps the next time you can do 3 rounds and you discover, aha, guess what? Last time I did 2 rounds. Look how you're getting stronger. You can visibly see the change until eventually we get strong enough to complete all 8 sets. All right, so let's work out today. If anybody wants to stay seated today, or if anybody has something that doesn't feel good today, let me know. Maybe your shoulders are tweaking, your lower back, your knees. I need to know. It's not good, it's not bad. I just would love to know so we can modify around that sensation in your body. We never want to push past. All right, so let's see. Everybody else clicked in here. Sarah joined us while I was chatting. Diane, welcome. Bessie, good to see you. Okay, so if anybody is decided today, I encourage you to stand with me and move with me. And if you wanted to stay seated today, please shout out, reach out, let us know so I can preview modifications. Everything we do today remains 1 foot on the floor. That means it's low impact. That's definition of low impact. 1 foot on the floor at all times. And I do have a chair nearby if you did want to have any kind of modification for seated. So typically our program begins with the head and neck. Okay, if you have lymphatic damage to your system and the lymphatic system in the head and neck, fluid sometimes can become blocked, draining to the midsection, which is where the fluid travels to filter, process, and go back through the body. Okay, so if you have lymphatics damaged in the head and neck, fluid can tend to build up here. So we always hit the cervical region for that. If you had surgical procedures or damage to lymphatics in the axilla, We perform upper extremity, technically your arms and hands, lymph drainage technique. Some of us may have had surgical procedures in the midsection of our body, the trunks of our body, which may have damaged our lymphatics there. So we always have a deep belly breath to help disperse fluid in the trunk of the body that may be pooling or backing up. And then of course we hit the large muscles in the lower body to encourage, again, that full body workout and the full body flow of lymph. So typically when we sit like this and we're inactive, we don't have the muscular contraction required to help move the lymph fluid, as I mentioned earlier. The slow twitch fibers, of course, in your torso are holding you up, but we want to get those muscles to pump and relax. So first, what we need to do is disperse any fluid in the trunk of the body, essentially empty that region of the body. So any kind of fluid that may be trapped, that we encourage drainage, will travel into the midsection of the body. So essentially we want to make room for that fluid to travel to, right? If you have a glass full of water, you can't necessarily pour more water into it. You have to pour a little bit out, disperse it, and then you can put that water back in. In this case, we're discussing lymphatic fluid in the trunks of our body. So we start with a deep belly breath. And you can do a deep belly breath any time of day, any time of night. And it's helpful for relaxation. It's helpful for just everyday sensation of just breathing in that fresh air. And in this particular case, for this system and this program, it's helpful to disperse the fluid buildup in the trunk of the body. So if you're seated, come off the back of the chair. So we're sitting tall. We want to have good posture, not be slouchy. Okay, and if you're standing with me, come on up. Feet will be about shoulder width. Okay, so that gives you that stable base. I always want to encourage you to avoid a narrow position, because when you move, if you move side to side, you can have that topple effect. Okay, I'm going to move the iPad quickly just to get a better visual for my feet, if you don't mind. Maybe this direction is better. There you go. I got a little close up for you. Yeah, I want you to be able to see my feet. So I'm shoulder width here. My kneecaps are forward and my shoulders are back and down, relaxed. I'm gonna put my hair up because that means it's go time. It's go time, folks. Let's do this. And I want you to identify the tip of your nose, please, and keep it directly above your chin, directly above your collarbone, directly above your belly button. So the center line, that midline of the body, it's nice and tall. As I mentioned, shoulders are back and down. Profile looks like this, just good posture, standing tall. Okay, so your body weight's in your heels if you're standing. And if you're seated, your body weight's in your sit bones evenly. Okay, so when we sit, we tend to put weight on one side. We want to be nice and balanced. Okay, sit bones even. So one hand to the lower belly, and one hand to the chest if you're new to this. If you've been doing and are comfortable with this type of breathing process, you go right ahead. If you're with me, I want to encourage you one hand here because we want to breathe into the lower hand. As you inhale, you push your belly out to the bottom hand. The top hand we use as a gauge so that we're not breathing into the upper respiratory. We want to focus on that deep belly breath, okay? So everybody just take a moment and inhale. Push your belly into the hand on the bottom. And then relax and exhale. Now I always suggest like 3 or 4 rounds, maybe 5 breaths. So take your time inhaling. As you breathe in, your lungs expand, yes. Your diaphragm flattens. And that abdominal wall, that 6-pack right here, those muscles have to, as you press out, have to contract and relax. Muscular contraction. Also, this is a signal to the body to say, okay, we're prepping. We're prepping now for some work ahead. All right, we'll have a little massage technique. I'm going to come close. You can stay right where you are. Fingertips separate. Some in front of the ear and some behind the ear, right below the earlobe. There's a little groove your fingertips can fit in. And I want to encourage you to stretch your skin in little circles towards the drainage path. Little circle, little circle. Looks like this on the side. Now there's no pressure because we don't want to impede or block any flow. We just want to give that little massage, again, to help push that fluid through. And then here we come down and a J stroke and across the collarbone. So maybe here you can have 4 fingertips connect to the surface of the skin. And again, the sensation is not a deep tissue massage, it's a skin glide. Just slide across the surface of the skin. Some of the lymphatics are very close to the surface of the skin. You don't want to do any further damage. You just want to encourage the fluid to flow. And then of course, come to one armpit. Now, those of us that have had surgery across our chest, one side may be more effective. You may have deeper scar tissue. So little circles, once again, towards the trunk of the body. And that's it. And maybe if you do have one side that's affected more than the other, you'll notice here how tight you may be compared to the other side, or maybe how the other side may be easier to be manipulated and rolling. And let's come to the side of the breast and little rolls. That's the way, maybe 3 or 4. And we'll get to the other side. I'm close so you can see. Just cup your hand into the armpit and little rolls. Just waking up, stimulating the lymphatic, those lymph nodes. And then get to the side of the breast. That's it. And now we have large bundles of lymph nodes located in our groin. So I'm going to stand again. And if you're seated, just sit taller, but right here in the crease of the leg, where the leg lifts in the groin, we want to have a little massage technique. And again, back towards the trunk of the body. The lymph fluid travels back through the heart, filters, cleanses, travels back through the body, and does its good work. Damage to the lymphatics in the groin. Fluid, as it travels back up from the legs and feet, the lower extremity can get trapped and build up. So we want to encourage opening the path in this region to help that fluid drain back up. Does that make sense? Yeah, good job, guys. Now we have small bundles between the crease of our knees of lymph nodes. We have small bundles in our elbow bend. And as I mentioned earlier, we have that pump action. We'll have our elbows bending, we'll have our knees bending, okay, to help encourage that flow. So let's move on here to our warm-up today. Okay, as I mentioned, we'll hit the head and neck. We'll hit the upper extremity, our arms and shoulders. We'll hit the lower extremity, the larger muscles, legs. And in between each component, we have a cardio segment. And our cardio segment today will be 8 marches. It looks like this, just marching on the spot. I want to encourage you not to bang your feet. 2 tap outs, 2 tap outs, and then 2 heels to the front. And if you're seated, please come off the back of the chair as we do that, okay? If you're seated, please keep sit bones grounded, even though our feet are moving forward and back and side on. Shall we start? Let's go, guys. Okay, so standing tall, sitting tall. Let's take our face to the right shoulder. Opposite shoulder, press towards the floor. And pause. Now feel that stretch. That's it. So the stretch here is releasing any tightness and tension in our neck. Look to me. We're going to do that 2 times. Okay, so come again to the right. Now the chin is towards the shoulder, but not connected down. You want to have that gap, maybe 3 inches between your chin and the top of your shoulder, so you have room to breathe. Now take your face from here, everybody, up and over, all the way up. Look to the ceiling, the sky, the roof, whatever's above you. Come all the way over like a rainbow to the other side. That's it. And pause. Take your eye gaze and fix your eye gaze on the wall. Look to me. How do we go with that? Come again. Left side, turn. It's a quarter turn. And you apply the amount of pressure that works for your neck. Never force a stretch. Look to me, because we do it twice, remember? Come again to the side. And take a big breath in, up and over, all the way up. Just roll your eye gaze, roll your face like a rainbow. Come center, look to me, big shoulder roll. I have a message here. There we go. Okay, so somebody asks here who can see this recording. This recording will be posted on the East Hampton Library's YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the East Hampton Library YouTube channel. and get to see all 6 sessions. Okay, so as we're in this, let's do our first section of cardio. Right foot lead, march on the spot. 8 and 7 and 6 and 5. Stand tall, sit tall, and 3 and 2. Who remembers what's next? 2 taps, 2 taps. Now right heel, left heel, 2 times. How do we go? Let's do it again. 8 and 7. Now you can have marching man arms if you want, but I want the hands relaxed. 3 and 2 and 1. 2 taps. Just tap to the side. 2 heels, 1 to the front. Switch. 2 more rounds, please. 8 and 7. Your chin is up. Breathe. 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Here we go. Tap and tap. Now those taps are exactly that. They're light. Tap and switch. Come again. 8 marches, and 7, and 6, and breathe, and 5, and smile, and 4, and 3. And pump those arms if you want, okay? All right, tap 2 times. Tap 2 times. 1 heel to the front and switch. 1 heel to the front and switch. My first check-in, breathy sensation, yes? All right, upper extremity lymph drainage technique. So if you're seated, come sit tall. Everybody come with me. Hands come to the front. Good, flip your palms up, pull. Good, hands come to the front. Take it overhead, fist squeeze. And we'll drop on down. How do we go? Come again, hands come to the front, palms face the floor, looks like this on the side. Flip your palm, pull for a row. Shoulders pull back, elbows are tight. We're not here, kids, we're here. Reach forward, all the way up, fist squeeze, relax on down. Let's do 2 more rounds, okay? So this is a forward flexion in the shoulder, in clinical terms. This is a supination. Stretch your chest right here. Reset the body here, and then continue all the way up to the full range. Fist squeeze, and then relax on down. But in exercise programming, this right here is a forward raise, front raise. This is a palm flip. This is a row. Lift your heart right here. Relax forward, arms overhead. Fist squeeze, get that pump in that forearm, come on down. Good job. 2 big rolls with bent elbows just to roll it out and loosen that up. How do we go with that? All right, left side lead, 8 marches, go, 8, and 7, and 6, and 5. Now don't bang your feet, land quiet, please. No impact allowed. 2 taps, 2 taps, 2 heels, left and right, and left and right. 3 more rounds, okay? 8 and 7 and 6. You want to smile through this. Have some fun with this. 2 and 1. 2 taps. 2 taps. Who knows what's next? 2 heels. Think about it. 2 more times through. And 7. So the knee comes forward. A little baby flexion in the hip. It's a basic walking gait. It's functional. Tap to the side. Heel to the front. 2 times. Alternate right and left. Good. 1 more time. 8 and 7 and 6. Now you start to notice that breathing process that we spoke about. Yeah. 2 taps. 2 taps. Increasing that heart rate, increasing that blood flow, improving cardiovascular endurance. Good job. Let's hit the lower body. Okay, so if you're seated, feet, knees are shoulder width. And if you're standing with me, knees are shoulder width. Take a toe to the floor, roll the ankle. Roll the shoelaces and roll the kneecap with it. However many times that feels good. And let's switch. I did 6 on that round, so let's do 6 on this side. Loosening up the ankle joints. That's it. But more importantly, imagine what's happening right here in the hip socket. Now let's do it again. 6 rolls right here. The kneecap leads the move. The shoelaces travel with it. Really opening that groin. And again, that internal massage of those deep lymph nodes, those inguinal lymph nodes that are located in that groin. Rolling them around. All right, so if you're seated, hands to the hips, and if you're standing with me, hands to the hips. Everybody, shift your weight to the balls of your feet. It looks like this on the side. Heel lift. Give me 4 of them. That's it, get that calf to activate. And if you're seated, Same deal, just lift your heels. Here's rep 3, and here's rep 4. Now, if you're seated, take your hands off your hips, and if you're with me, standing tall, tap the right knee, tap the left knee. Tap the right knee, tap the left knee. Let's do it again. Hold on to your hips if you're seated. 4 heel lifts. Now the movement is tiny. It's maybe 2 inches. You're shifting the weight to the ball of the feet. Again, profile. Look how small the move is. That's it. Now imagine that. Your calves are lifting your entire body weight. Good. Tap the right knee. Tap the left knee. Tap the right knee. Tap the left knee. Let's switch 2 more rounds, okay? 4 heel lifts. Breathing here. So we'll come to the ball of the feet and then land quiet. Here's rep 3. Look at my shoulders. That's why I wear dark colors when I teach. Look at my shoulders. They're flat. We're not here. Relax. Good. Tap the left knee. Tap the right knee. Tap the left knee. It's a light tap. 1 more round. So I want you to pay attention and focus now on that knee tap. That was a little sneaky, but I want you to think how high your knee lifted when you marched. I want you to think how much higher you have to lift your knee right here to tap it. It's a greater range of motion in that hip socket. Well done, everybody. 1 more round of cardio segment. March on the spot, right side. And 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. 2 taps, right? 2 taps left, like a little dance. 2 heels coming, right and left. Good, right side, 8, and 7, and 6. You want to pump the arms, you can or not. Relax, it's okay. I just want you to move. That's it, at your level, okay? Every day's different. 2 heels. Guess what, kids? We're switching left side. Who's coordinated? 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4. Relax the fingers, please. Don't forget, midline is long. Tap. Tap, tap, tap to the front, tap, and tap. 1 more round, 8 marches, 8, and 7, and 6. Now you start to notice the breathiness that I mentioned, okay? On purpose. If you're breathing like I am, slightly winded, you're doing it right. 2 times here. All right. So there's your warm up, everybody. If you have water, please grab some. If you have any questions, yeah, take this time now to speak up. Not to worry, folks. Everyone, this session is being recorded, but your images are not being shown, okay? You have me and the East Hampton Library logo, which will be recorded. All right, I got a few questions about the recording. How did we go, everybody? If you have concerns, questions, speak up now. Use the Q&A box or the chat feature. But if you're cool and groovy, I'm cool and groovy, let's move on. So we did our upper extremity preview. We did a front raise, a supination. We did a row. We came all the way up to a full range in the shoulder joint, 180 degrees with a fist squeeze. So where's the muscular contraction? The muscles in the forearm, the base of the bicep. The bicep is contracting to bend the elbow. Okay, the upper back's contracting. The front raise, the upper back's still working. Now the front of the shoulder's working, but imagine that axilla pump in this movement in the shoulder socket. Okay, that's the purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come up overhead, this fist squeeze, open, shut them as big as you can. Just get that skin stretch in the palm of the hand, helps drain any fluid buildup. All right, in the forearm. And with the arms overhead, we have the benefit of gravity helping to encourage that fluid back to the midsection of the body. Every time we fist squeeze, we're going to add 1 repetition. We're going to 6. All right, and as we come out, when we come to the shoulder level with our arms, we're going to have an arm circle, a shoulder circle, a shoulder circumduction, clinically known as, okay, abduction circles, a big roll in the shoulder. You can have a bent elbow, take some of the weight out. You can have a long arm, which makes it slightly heavier depending on your shoulder range of motion and your upper back strength. Okay, now we're moving in unison, 2 arms together, so we have that balance. Every inch we move, I want to remind you, away from the center of the body, that changes that center of gravity. So you may feel your trunk of your body moving, shifting. It's just trying to stabilize. All right, again, muscular contraction, slow twitch fibers keep you upright. So let's do it together, shall we? If you're seated, come off the back of the chair. If you're standing, come with me. I want to make sure you have my whole framework. All right, here we go, everybody. Shoulders back, belly button directly on the collarbone. Stand tall. Kneecaps are forward and shoulder width. Posture matters. Here we go. Front raise, shoulder level. Flip your palm. Pull. Now come back forward, all the way up. Squeeze your fist once. Open wide, palms to the ceiling or roof. One roll. Come on down. Beautiful. Come on again. Come to the front, flip, row. Feel that stretch across the chest. Reset the arms in all the way overhead. Now squeeze your fist twice. Let them relax down. No, roll twice. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And relax. Now you may not start to notice in your upper back. Come again. Here's rep 3. Flipping. Looks like this on the side. Pulling tight to the body. Reset. Arms overhead. Now to be coming wide. Shoulder level. 3 rolls. Here we go. And I want to remind you, those arm circles right here, you can make them as big or as large as you want. But you may start to notice a warming sensation in the shoulder muscle. Pulling, stretch your chest. Now right here, elbows tight behind. Good. Come forward, all the way up. 3, 4 here. 2, chin is up. Come down. Bend the elbows if you need less. If you're strong, want more, arms long. 4. You want more? Bend the knees slightly. 3. How are we going with this? Up, back, and down, and wide. Like a big sigh. Ah, good, good. All right, folks, here comes repetition 5, flipping. Pay attention to the lower back. It may start to engage here with the weight away from the midline, the center of body. Here we go. 5, 4, chin is up. 3, look at my shoulders, stick down. No shrugging. 2, 1, come wide. Big rolls, 5 of them. Make them as big as you want or as tiny as you want, okay? You want to go really big, ahead. 3 and 4. Imagine that axilla pump, huh? Yeah, come on down. Whew. All right, folks, one more. Here we go. Supination, palm up. Nice big chest stretch, scapular retraction behind. All the way to the top. Oh, thank you. Here we go. 6 fist squeezes. And 5. Chin is up. And 4. And 3. Pump it, pump it, pump it. Okay. Here we come. 6 rolls and we're done. 6. Take your time. 5. Start to notice that warming sensation, as I mentioned, in the shoulder. That's your shoulder muscle. Okay. That's blood flow. Let's get the 6th one. You feel that warming sensation back in a certain time frame. In the 80s, they would say, feel the burn. That's just blood flow. If you felt that warming sensation, you did it right. The muscle was saying, hey, I need that oxygen. How's the breathing? Yeah, we should feel stimulated in our upper bodies. Well done. Let's hit the lower body, okay? You can stay seated. You can stay standing. I'd like to do this. I'm watching the time real quick. I want to see how much time I have here. All right, we're moving right along. Okay, so seated. Let me get my notes out. Yeah, water, please grab some. Yeah, have a little sip right now. Cool off a little bit. Check in with yourself. Check in if you're breathy, okay? Clearly the body is in a state of work and efforts at a low intensity, all right? That's where we want to be. You should be able to sustain and speak through it like I can. All right, so let's do this one. We have the double heel lift, remember? 2 heels lift straight up and down, straight up and down. And remember these tap outs? Every time we do a tap out, we're going to add 1 repetition to it. Every time we do the heel tap, we're going to add 1 repetition to it. Okay, so you have that side movement, lateral movement in the hip. You have, if you're standing, you have the hips having to stabilize and stay balanced. You have a weight shift, okay, or that core control. When I say core, I mean the trunk of the body, the front, the back, and the sides. All right, we're only going to go to 4 on this because I want to do a cardio segment after this. So if you're seated, sit tall. If you're standing, hands on the hips because the brain likes something to hold on to. So let's do 4 heel raises. Shoulders are relaxed, chin is up. Breathe here. Just lift your body. That's it. And if you're seated, your knees lift. Good. Tap to the right once. Tap to the left once. Tap to the front once. And once. Great. Back to shoulder width. Here we go. 4. And 3. That's the way, guys. Come on. 2. And 1. Now 2 taps. 2 taps to the right. 2 taps to the left. To the front, right. And twice. Good. Good. So as we move to the front, again, the weight shifts. We have that alternating right side, left side. So a lot more happening than just tapping your heels. Here comes repetition 3. And back. To the front. 3. And 2. Now pull the toes up strong. And 1. Even if you're seated, pull those toes up. You have to stretch those calves. Good. 4. And your last round here, folks. 3. 2. And 1. 4 taps to the right. Nice and light. Yes. 4 to the left. To the front. 4. And 3. Yeah, add a little dance if you're standing. 2. A little bop to the upper body. And 1. Good job. Good job. All right. All right. Great. Let's move on. Of course, hydrate, please, if you have water. Let's move on. We'll do a set cardio focus to bring that breathiness back. Okay. We want to have that heart and lungs pumping, the circulation and our blood flow pumping, stimulating the lymphatic flow. So let's do 20 seconds of effort. And then we take a 10-second break. And on the break, you do whatever you need to do. You want to shake it off, you want to roll it out, you do whatever you need to do. So if we're standing today, for the first set, we'll be marching on the spot. If you're seated, the first set, marching on the spot. Okay. Sometimes when we march, we get strong with it, and I don't want no banging allowed. Okay. Don't get militant with it. Just nice walking gait. Okay. So for the second set, if you're standing, I want to come here. It's the same posture we did earlier with the lower body. We're just adding the arm to the side. It's a modified half step jack. And if you're seated with me, or if you've decided to sit with me, the marching on the spot looks much like this, obviously. And because of the side posture seated, if you come with me, I'd like you to just extend the leg and just kick the leg in front instead of tapping to the side, okay? Kick the leg in front. Then we march, then we do the other side, and that's 4 rounds. We're going to repeat it twice, shall we? I have a timer. I'll set a bell. I'll set the volume up so you can hear me. So we have the right side of the body working. We'll have the left side of the body working. We'll have the upper body and lower body working. Oh, there you go. Are you there? Question? Somebody? Oh, Stephen's back. Okay. Now let me set my timer. Okay, everybody. So standing tall or seated tall, march for round 1 right here. Marching on the spot, 20 seconds of effort. Chin is up. Now we have a total of 8 rounds. Check in with yourself. You're right at 10 seconds. That's it. Stay with me. You have 5 seconds left. And 3, and 2, and 1, and break, and break. Okay, set 1 is done out of 8 total. We have the right side coming, stepping with me in the half jack, or kick your foot out if you're seated. It looks just like this, folks. One side moving. You have the pump in the groin. You have the elbow bend. You have the pump in the axilla. And if you're seated, your leg is extending forward, like I showed you. Extend forward. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, break. Take a break. 20 seconds goes quick. Goes quick. We're back to a march. Back to a march. And this is round 3. Okay, so any foot leads, march on the spot. If you're seated, please sit tall. Everybody, seated or standing, your chin is up. I'd like to encourage that breath. Breathe through this. Good. Just a little pumping sensation in the arms. 5 seconds, folks. I just looked. 5 seconds. 3, 2, break. We have the left side. If you're standing, it's this posture. If you want more, you can take that arm to that full range. All right, here we go. Left side only. It's a side tap with the lower body. The left side is moving. That's it. If you want less, bend the elbow. You want less, move slower. But everybody check in with your right opposite side. It's not moving much, but it's working just as hard. And break. That's round 4. We're right at the halfway mark. This is Tabata, folks, traditional Tabata. March on the spot, please. March and march. And shake out your shoulders. And try to relax your fingers and your hands. We don't want a tight fist. Relax the fingers, relax the wrists. 9 seconds, more than halfway through. 4 and 3 and 2 and done. Now this is the point I really want you to be honest with yourself. Check in with the breathiness. It should be like we had earlier. Okay, not too winded. Right side, here we go. Right side, tap, tap. And if you're seated, the leg comes forward. You open and close the knee. If you're seated or standing, we land light with our feet. Now imagine that pump in that groin from that inner thigh, pulling the leg back towards the midline. Good, good. All right, everybody, 2 rounds to go, okay? 2 rounds to go. Back to a march, back to a march. And this is the round where you start to notice the breathiness. This is the round where you start to notice 10-second recovery is almost not enough. And if you have to sit this round out, this is your round 7. Mental note, round 7 is your tolerance, okay? 3, 2, break. Basic moves, basic moves. Okay, here we go. Last round, 8th and final round. Left side, half jack if you're standing. If you're seated, that left leg kicks forward. Good. The shoulder socket is soft. The fingers are soft. The tap is soft. If you want more, go a little quicker or not. 4, 3, 2, done. There we go. Did you hear the bell? My timer has a little party at the end. Good job, everybody. Good job. I want you to notice the difference here, how the focus shifted from muscular contraction to the breathy to respiratory function. Yes? Well done. 2 thumbs up, everybody. Let's grab some water, please. You have it nearby. Check your shoelaces, please. If you do have shoelaces on the shoes you have on your feet, when we move, we want to make sure that we encourage the flow of lymphatic fluid. So if you're noticing that your shoelaces now that the body is stimulated may be tight, loosen them up slightly, okay? All right, I'm watching the time here. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. If you did all 8 rounds with me, high 5. Good job, everybody. Good job. And if you were able to do some of that set or do a segment of that set, good job. Now you know your limits. And next time you do a training segment, stay within your limits, always remain safe. All right, let's do one more. Okay, let's do one more. All right, this time we're going to go a different type of training, different type of interval, where we're going to count backwards. Okay, I want to count backwards because we have to cool the body down so we can go about our day. So we're going to do a little bit of a step tap, side to side, and then that heel tap once again. Okay, and we'll start with 6 and we'll count backwards to 1. So we do 6 of each exercise, then we do 5, 4, 3, 2. And then by that point, our body should have come back to a place that's stable and comfortable to go about our day. So let's get right to it. All right, so it's a little step tap like this, 6 and 5, nice and light, and 4. And if you're seated, even though we're shifting side to side, 2 sit bones grounded, okay, on the chair. 2 and 1 to the front, 6 heels, 6. Now I encourage you here to take the fingertips up and roll. Roll the hand, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 5 and 5 sets, guys, 5 and 4. And after this round, I promise you it goes quick. 3, but take a monitor of your breathing. 2 and 1 to the front. Roll those fingers. And 5 That's it. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. All right, here comes rep 4. Ready? 4, and 3. Slowing down. Nice and light on the tap. And 2, and 1. And to the front. 4, and 3, and 2. And check in with yourself. When I say that, I'm serious. Here's rep 3. How do you feel? You should feel like the word I keep using is stimulated on purpose. Yeah. You should feel proud. You should feel encouraged. Here's rep 2 once and twice. To the front once and twice. And 1 and done, folks. 1 and 1 and to the front. 1 and done. Okay, let's breathe. Again, any fluid that we encourage to move or shift wants to travel back into its one-way loop to the trunk of the body. So let's flush that fluid back out. So as we move about our day, we have that space and that room. Okay, so 2 hands to the belly if you're comfortable, or 1 hand to the chest if you need to be mindful of your breath. If you're with me here. Now this here, in the beginning of class, was a signal to the body that we're prepping to work. This here is a signal to the body that we're slowing down. And this here is an important place for you to pay attention to the breathing. It should be smooth and even. Let's do a few more. Breathing, inhaling, pushing the belly out. Exhaling, letting the body and belly sink back in. Beautiful. All right, everybody, thank you very much. That was fantastic work, folks. We did true intervals, Tabata training. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, there is a question. Let me see what's here. Let's see. Wonderful class. Thank you, Lisa. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fun to see you again. Again, Stephen, yeah, if you want to put up a graphic for your programming for April, that'd be great. Let's see everybody else here. Let's see. Mel, thank you. Thank you so much, Mel. Thank you for clicking in. I appreciate everyone taking their time here. I want to thank East Hampton Library for hosting us, our 6th and final set of the series. It's great attendance, great program. Please visit East Hampton Library's YouTube channel and subscribe so you can see the other programs they offer as well as this program, all 6 rounds. Should be listed there. All right. If you wanted to I encourage you, if you want to join me more in the future, just call StonyBrook Southampton Hospital in Southampton, New York. Ask for the wellness departments and sign up for my Fit and Strong through the hospital. Peace out, Girl Scout. Thank you, everybody. Debbie, Diane, Bessie, Angela, Lisa, Joanne, Patty, Mel, everybody, Trish, Lewis. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today. Stay well.